We're recording.
So I found that they do better if I go in. Oh, sorry. Go in there during the day. I don't know if it's just because at night they're like resting and they get annoyed or what. But so now I just go in during the day. So here is the outer lid.
Oh, I can hear them.
Yeah. It's really interesting when like they'll have like this when something really kind of gets in there and bugs all of them, like you'll hear just this really deep buzz come up from inside.
What would get in there and bother them?
Sometimes if I kind of drop a frame,
Uh-huh.
that annoys them. Understandably so.
Oh my gosh.
Can you see how many there are?
Bees or?
Yeah, bees.
I see some crawling around on top of the frames.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to evaluate numbers.
No. Okay.
Maybe 30 or something?
Oh,
And they're
okay.
crawling on the inside of the lid, it looks like, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they're looking kind of sluggish.
It's okay. So it's interesting because there's like it's kind of developmental. Like, so the ones that are in here, they can fly, but they're not necessarily entirely ready to fly.
Huh.
So they're, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks old right here, but they're in here doing work on the inside because they're like they're just developmentally not quite ready to go out and fly all the time. So it's the
Wow.
older ones that are out flying. Okay. So this one, I always forget to bring frame tool, which in my case is just a little tiny bar for trying to pry stuff apart. So the frames here get kind of stuck in place.
Okay.
The substance is propolis, and it's kind of just like a sticky glue substance that they make. So go in here, try to get things moving. Okay. So this is the outermost frame of the top box.
Okay.
So I've got 2 boxes here. I've got the bottom box, which is where we started, and then after a little while we put on the second box. So I'm starting to, so what's different with this from normal, so it has wax all over it. It has beeswax all over it. But so this is one of the first times that I've ever actually found a bee on this outside, on this first frame.
Oh.
They kind of focus all their work on the inside to start with, and then they move outward. So I'm going to look at the other side. Yep, see, so they're just like 1 or 2 little bees in there doing their work.
So do you put the wax frame in yourself?
No, so the frames that so there are a couple kinds of frames. So the frame that it has like a base in there. It has like a wall in between. But the bees put all that wax on their own, and it's all this perfect hexagonal
Right.
shape.
I thought that the bees made it themselves, but then looking at it, it's like, no. It looks impeccable.
Yeah, no, it's just like genetically, I don't know, just programmed in there to know exactly how far to go before making a turn and what that turn should look like.
Wow.
But yeah, so they're doing a little bit of work. So basically most likely what they're doing is they're putting some nectar in there So the nectar then will ferment and turn into honey. And you'll know that it's honey because they will have put a lid over it. But yeah, so that's where they've just got their little bee butts sticking out and they're doing all their work in there.
So first they build the wax comb, and then they fill those things with honey?
Yep.
Or with nectar?
Yep. Or other ones they'll fill with, if the queen lays an egg in it, then they'll do work in there and they'll be taking care of the larva that hatches, and then the larva hangs out in there until it gets big enough that they're ready to, they'll put another little kind of lid cover over it, and then it'll be like its cocoon and it'll turn into a bee that will then hatch. So they'll be in there like feeding the larva and that sort of thing. Okay, so this is the second one here. We've got, again, a couple bees, not a whole lot of bees. Oh, and the other thing is it's really light. I'd say it's maybe like the weight of, I don't know. It's lighter than a cell phone. It's maybe the, no.
They don't mind you touching them?
Yeah. It's really surprising to me, but yeah, they'll let me.
This is a really elementary question, but why do they make honey?
For fuel to eat, yeah. But they make way more honey than they need.
So
and
it's
I
like
don't know why
fermenting food and having a food store in there?
Yeah, so I have no idea why they make so much more than what they need.
Do they feed on it in the winter?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
I feel like they've gotten louder since we've been out here.
I agree. I think they. And I don't know if, I guess it's kind of personifying them or anthropomorphizing them to say that, you know, they're frustrated or irritated, versus just to say like there's stuff going on, so they're talking. Yeah, I don't know which would be more accurate to say. Trying to think. I don't know. I guess like depending on how much mail you have, maybe it's like the weight of stack of mail, like, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 envelopes.
Oh.
That's what.
Okay.
So one of those that just has beeswax, because the beeswax is really light. I don't know.
Have you harvested any honey yet? Or wax?
No, like I think that'll probably happen next spring, because you want to let them like make sure they get through the winter. Okay. So this is the third one, and it is significantly heavier.
Oh.
It's still not as heavy as some.
I think I can see a little, or a minute ago I could see some changes in coloration on the wax. I don't know if that means some that are capped off, or it's a little hard to tell.
The only change in coloration I know about is when there is, like, when they're brood ones.
Oh.
Like when they've got, larvae in there.
Oh my gosh.
Huh.
As I'm leaning over, I'm looking in, and it looks like the next frame is almost solid bees.
Cover. Yeah, that's
Oh, there's a lot on that
on
side.
that side. Sorry, little guys. Let's see if I can keep wondering when I'm going to get to the ones that are capped. There are some of these that are capped. Yeah.
Meaning that there's honey inside?
Yep.
Wow.
And so you know that it's honey inside because they're more or less even with the outside. I mean, it goes in a little bit. It's not completely even. But so if it were larvae in there, it would kind of bulge out a little bit.
Oh, so you can tell by feeling which one it is?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so it's a little bit heavier because it has the, I mean, it's significantly heavier. It's, yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. Let's see if there's other guys. There we go. Sorry. There we go.
It's so neat to watch you just gently touching those and how they just kind of move around your fingers.
I never would have guessed that that these would let me kind of pet them. Okay. So what do we get with this one? We'll be soon. See, like you hear that buzz?
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Here comes. Yeah, so this is, I don't know, it's, try to think of what it weighs. I don't know. It's really hard to compare. I'm not good at comparing weight. But it is significantly heavier. And then yeah, so these, yeah, it's interesting. There are a lot that are capped, and then there are some that are not.
Hmm.
On that side. And then, so part of the purpose of inspecting frames, like, you can see if something's going wrong, which I don't feel like I know enough yet to decide to, I don't know, to think that I would actually know if something is going wrong.
How often do you inspect like this?
Every week or two?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Besides that, what other things do you do to care for them?
Not much. 'Cause, I mean, really, they're doing their own. I mean, they're wild animals. Really. And I'm curious. Sorry, on this one, I'm curious why. Like down here at the bottom, the honeycomb doesn't fill out. Right here on the bottom. And it could be that I'm leaving them unequally spaced. I'm also curious why there's so few bees on this side. I don't really, so this is something where I don't know enough yet to know if they just saying like, okay, we're done with that one. So we're not doing work there, or if there's a problem. So I'll have to, I don't know, I'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, so looking for problems, and then also looking for kind of knowing how much, like, if they're done with all the space that they have, then they will, eventually they will leave if they're completely done.
And would you know that by checking on the outermost ones?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I guess they kind of say that 80% is the number that so here we go. When you get to about 80% are empty, then, or sorry, 80% are full, then it's time to put on another box.
Do you want me to just keep recording?
Sure, yeah. Okay. Because I'm curious now what I'm going to find here, because this is more central, and if there's going to be kind of like how that one side didn't really have a lot going on. You see, whereas this side has a ton going on, and I don't really understand why they're paying attention to this side, not that other side. And last time I looked at these, let's see, more of them were filled.
Than they are now?
Yeah.
With bees, or do you mean that the honey
With
or the
honey.
comb was capped?
Like more of them are capped, I guess.
Huh.
So
Why would that be?
I mean, they could be eating it. They could be moving it. Yeah, so like that's the one that I'm touching right now is capped. But okay, so that one sounds different. Like that one bee that just went by, it's much noisier. I think that's a drone.
What does that mean?
So drones are males.
Oh.
And they are not worker bees. Let's see. So here's a little extra comb down here. So I'm gonna, if I actually had my tool with me, this would be easier, but I'm gonna take it off. So we call the extra little bits of comb like that burr comb. I think it largely comes from bad spacing of the frames on my part. Yeah, so the drones are basically, they come from unfertilized eggs. They're the males, and they're not worker bees. They basically don't do anything for the hive. They go out and they mate with queens from other hives.
But not from this hive?
Exactly. Yeah, because there's only one queen in this hive.
Uh-huh.
And she was their
mother?
Mother, exactly.
So are there usually only a few drones per hive?
Yeah, like about 100 is what I read.
That sounds like a lot.
But then at the end of the season, when they're starting to get cold, all the worker bees kick the drones out because otherwise they're just a drain on all the resources so they're kicked out into the cold to go die.
And then some more hatch the next year?
Exactly, yeah. Like the queen can choose to, I guess she can choose to lay eggs that are not fertilized.
This drone sounding one's really, well, now he's gone. He was really taking an interest in me.
Well, you know. Oh, it's back.
Ooh, one's crawling on my foot.
Oh.
I'm not nervous yet, but if too many start crawling on me, I might get nervous.
Okay, alright. No, just let me know.
They definitely seem friendly to you, though.
It's really quite amazing. Okay, so this one is really heavy.
Oh! Yeah, just some are crawling on me. Oh. They're up my dress.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't even think of
So I don't want to scare them.
Didn't think about that. This one's kind of over the edge. Let's see here. Do you wanna?
I'm okay.
Okay. Yes, I think these
They're
are
just
kind
checking me out. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I think these are kind of like over the edge, just because of, yeah. I've lined them up not great with the ones underneath.
Are the two boxes connected?
They're not. They're loose from each other, but ideally you want it all to just kind of like come straight up, because the setup on the bottom box is the same.
But they can move between them on the inside?
Uh-huh, exactly. Yeah, no, I can just lift the top box off the second box.
So it's all one hive community.
Exactly, yeah. This one's really heavy too.
The light has shifted and now it's much harder to see what you're doing
Oh, okay.
from the video standpoint.
Okay.
That's a little better with you moving back like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Because I say like they don't feel like they're capped, but I mean this obviously has a lot of honey in it because it's so heavy. So I wonder if maybe, I just even wonder if like the heat from the time that I last looked at them has made it kind of sink in.
Huh.
I don't know.
Do the bees mind the heat?
They have ways of controlling the heat. They'll like, so it's called bearding. They'll come on the outside of the hive and they'll kind of grab onto each other's like hands basically, and they'll create these long links of bees and they'll just buzz around outside.
Outside of the hive, you said?
Yep. And so that's helping to control the heat inside the hive.
Oh my
Because they're all
gosh.
coming outside and doing their thing.
Like they're doing a fan?
Mhm.
Fanning the hive?
Yeah, both. Yeah, fanning the hive and then also kind of not creating heat inside.
Wow.
Okay, so yep, accidentally took up 2 that time, but that works.
So on a really hot day, you might see bees buzzing on the outside more?
Exactly. Yep. But they're all linked together, and it creates what really does look like a beard.
Whoa. Around the hive, or?
Yeah, attached onto the hive.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they'll do that at night as well.
Why at night?
Again, to keep the temperature control. Yeah. So see, I think I have this idea that could create like the insides of walls for a house that would have beehives in it, because they create, like, when it was cooler, you could definitely feel this heat. Every time I would open it up, there'd be this heat rising up off the bees. So they'll create heat. And then they'll, and then they'll also cool. So it could be like with the beehives inside, it would create, something like walls that basically heat and cool on their own. So. Okay, so I'm not there. I didn't look at that 10th one. I'm not going to, just because. So the 9th one, the honeycomb or not the, but like the beeswax doesn't fully fill out the frame.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Hopefully they will get over there and remember that and make more honeycomb there. But yeah, so then I am going to.
Are you not doing the last one because you know the second to last one isn't full?
Exactly. Yeah, because the second to last one didn't really have any activity going on in it, and it's not. Yeah. So I figure, like, the less I don't, you know, some people feel like this disturbs the bees. Other people say no, they're fine, they don't care. But so I figure the less disturb them, the better. This is the inner lid. And I don't know, like maybe it was just my spacing on those last ones that's making it so they just aren't putting honeycomb. I mean, it's got honeycomb, or it's got beeswax, it doesn't fully fill out the frame. I'm not exactly sure. But I don't know. I tried to make the spacing better.
As you were going along and checking.
Yeah, kind of at the end there. Go. And then we've got where is it? The little tiny piece of beeswax. I'm collecting it bit by bit.
So you must be really aiding the flowering plants in your neighborhood.
I hope so. I mean, they're talking about like their cornerstone species, like, which means like in 2 or 3 years without bees, you would like the whole ecosystem would collapse.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty insane. I don't know. Yep, those are my bees. And then
That
all
was
the
amazing.
The ones that are buzzing around on the outside and going and doing the foraging, those are actually the oldest bees.
Why?
Which is, not at all what you would think, but it's, so the theory is that basically so when they go out into the wild, they could get an infection, they could get some sort of disease, they could get attacked by something. So if a bee gets attacked or gets sick, you actually don't want it to come back into the hive and infect everybody else. So you want the ones that are going to be most vulnerable to dying,
Whoa.
to go out. And I'd never kind of heard of that way of
amazing.
thinking about it. But
What constitutes an old bee?
the worker bees live about 4 to 6 weeks.
That's it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How long does the queen live?
3 to 4-ish years, maybe?
So in the queen's life, she's had many generations of children born and die?
Uh-huh.
My goodness, poor queen.
I know. I know. And then the drones live about 3 months because they live for the summer until they get kicked out and killed. Yeah. Like, no, I mean, just the whole, like, society that they have going on. It's just...
That's incredible. Thank you so much for the tour.
Yeah.
Should I stop recording?
Oh, sure.